never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Hello, people. It's Carl Liebold here. Just setting. Sorry, got that wrong. Hang on.
Well played. Yes, Vincenzo is pushing the buttons tonight, folks, because I'm not home yet. It's been a bit of a drive around today, but what a bloody great day we have had. I caught up with Waptha, who's probably in the chat as we speak. We had a good catch up. In fact, I had to go back and see him again this afternoon before I left because I'd neglected, like an idiot, after waving those patches around in last night's show, I forgot to somehow put them in the bag that I took that had everything else in there. So I realised once I got to the hospital that they weren't there. However, I was catching up with Margie Sedman as well, and God bless her, Margie had some. So took some from her and took them back to Greg, and all things should be equal in a beautiful world. So it was wonderful to catch up with him today. He's looking very fit and happy, healthy in the hospital. I've got to say I've spent more time today in hospitals than I have, since I had an operation many years ago. And I think it's the first time that I've ever really been into the Sunshine Coast University Hospital. It's a very nice hospital. They have nothing but poison on the shelves, though. If you go into any of the drink areas, there is nothing but poison in the shelves, except maybe the water, and even then I'd be wondering. Everything is filled with that, well, whatever they put where there's no sugar. None of that stuff's good for you. I don't suppose sugar is either, but they are completely sugar-free at SCU. You cannot get any drink that has sugar in it. So I had to have a water. My body nearly died. Anyway, it was good to catch up with Greg, and we did get a little message from him. So, Vince, you might want to play that now.
Hello, beautiful people. What the here in my luxury surroundings with luxury food. I'd like to thank Carl for all the work he's done in making my experience more enjoyable and my recovery more rapid. And I hope to see a few of you guys on the cruise, because leg or no leg, I'm on the boat. I'm on the boat. Have fun, everyone.
Bloody great stuff, mate. And I got to have a bit of a look at the toes, the foot. Look, I'm no doctor. Parts of it don't look very pleasant at all. Parts of it look quite fine. The parts that don't look very pleasant, I believe, are only skin deep or just a little deeper. And there is great signs. The doctors are very happy with Greg's recovery so far. In fact, one of the surgeons said to him today that he had recovered better and further than the doctor ever thought possible he would. And that recovery is ongoing. So hopefully with a couple of X39 patches attached to him and all our love and blessings. I know that Rachel and Tony are working very hard with their healing teams to put as much healing into him as anybody can muster. And Greg himself is working very hard to make sure that this sort of improves. But it'll be what it is, and he's a very, very confident, calm, collected bloke, Greg. You know, he this kind of thing would be a shock to anybody, but he's dealing with it in a very pragmatic way. And all power to him and all love to him. We will see him on the cruise, as you said. Come hell or high water, he will be there. And I'm sure all of us that will be on the cruise will make sure that he's looked after 100%. So it was really great to catch up with both he and Margie today. And I caught up with Sunflower very briefly today for a quick chat, and it was wonderful to see her and She'd been babysitting with the grandbaby all day, so she had a big smile on her face, but she was knackered, ready to go and have a nana nap, I guess. But for her particularly, the work never ends, and she went back to it pretty much immediately, I guess, that I departed. So God love you all. It was wonderful to catch up. We're going to have to do another Sunshine Coast luncheon shortly. And Bear, I've got to call you. Got something to talk to you about too. So you'll probably get a call after the show tonight. Right. Well, I don't have a great deal of news of what's happened today. I understand President Trump has done a Saddam Hussein. Maybe not quite that badly, but was it Saddam Hussein? No, I think it was Gaddafi. Here, this is the line of death. No, Saddam Hussein. If you cross this line of death, you all die. And so the Americans crossed the line of death. Oh, well, this is the new line of death. And this is sort of what we're getting to with Donald Trump. I mean, it's a mockery, it's a stupidity, it's an amoral... oh, God, the stuff that came out of his mouth over Easter. And his excuses for that coming out over Easter. Oh, well, you know, you've heard worse language, and I want them to understand, you know, that the pressure was on, yada, yada, yada. And by the sounds of it, they got the idea. According to the sources that informed me, and that would be Vince, Trump had launched the bombers. They were going in to blow up all the power plants. They were going in to blow up all the bridges. The Iranian people, women and children predominantly, were ringing these facilities, particularly in Tehran. They looked like they were there of their own free will. I've got to be honest. It didn't look like the Army, Navy, or Air Force had dragged them there and were using them as human shields. It looked more like they were putting themselves there to try and protect the essential power that Tehran must have, and all of Iran must have. And of course, with the precision bombs that the Americans use, it would be a simple matter to drop that bomb straight through the roof of the reactor building, straight onto the reactor, if that's what they wanted to do. The bomb wouldn't even need to be big, and it probably wouldn't even rattle the outside walls. However, the optics of doing that are not terribly good. So we've got another 2 weeks to wait. Apparently the Straits of Hormuz will open under Iran's control. Whether or not there's still going to be a $2 million toll, and whether it's going to be a US dollar or a gold or a yuan, Chinese yuan fee, remains to be seen. But I think that's going to show or prove to be one of the major sticking points. So far, with the Straits being open now 12 hours or so, supposedly, we're not seeing any great increase in traffic. And Vince will, you know, quite happily defend that and saying, well, the boat owners have got to make sure that they're insured to go through, and that Lloyd's of London have signed off on all of this, and bullshit. And he's quite right. I would expect
correct for a change. You mean I'm actually correct for a change?
Well, I don't think it's going to take 2 weeks. The world won't believe this ceasefire if we're not going to see oil until after the ceasefire supposedly ends, and that'll be the end of the war. It means that the world's still not going to see oil regardless of the ceasefire. So the world needs to see that Iran is letting the oil in or out, or whichever, you know, letting the boats through, and they're not being told, and those boats have to be able to go through at a manageable insurance level, rather than having, you know, phenomenal insurance premiums put on them per crossing.
And they've got to negotiate it with the Iran people as part of that 10-point deal that was being done as well. So,
well, that can't be allowed to stand, because that's Iran putting a toll on the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, no, they're not putting a toll. They just have to negotiate the passage and let them know that they're coming through and arrange the correct times and stuff. So there's no charge. There's no dollar amount, as far as I know, being put on it. I could be incorrect with that, but they do need to negotiate that. And they said that it will take a while with technicalities, etc. So that's the news that came out today. Now, while we're speaking of boats, and the fact that Watson mentioned it, I thought I'd show you this.
Oh, don't go giving them away. All right, go on then.
You know what I mean? Well, what I'm
Well,
saying, guys,
I thought we were
if
making
you're
them a
literally,
surprise.
yeah, if you're literally, well, haven't seen the back. I haven't shown the back.
Oh, is that the front? Okay, righto.
That's the front. That's the front of the T-shirt. If you're coming on the boat, this is but one part of the T-shirt. You wait till you see the back. Right? It's absolutely excellent. And also, the sleeve has a special monogram on it. So, you guys, if you are coming, you have your last chance now to put your order in. I've already got the orders for some.
You're not buying the shirt. It's
me.
important to know you're not buying the shirt. We are. We're giving you the shirt.
You are getting the shirt as a bonus for coming on the deal. Mind you, the big donation you give after the cruise, that will be appreciated.
Very good.
Sorry. But
Thanks,
that is the front of the shirt, guys. So that's the front. I'll see if I can blow it up a little bit for you. Is it going to let me? Yeah, a little bit. Right. Very commemorative shirt, just for you guys. All right.
Yeah.
So
it's simply for the folks on the cruise. And the back doesn't have my head on it. You'll be pleased to know it has something much better, and I think looks absolutely shit hot. But we're not showing you that. That'll be the surprise. We'll leave that for our launch cruise, our live show from the deck as we depart Brisbane on the 4th of May, and hopefully we'll have a few people wearing the shirt by that stage, and we can have a great reveal of what the back is.
Yes, indeed. And you need to make sure that you send through to me, vince@vofhq.com, if you have not ordered your shirt yet, or even if you just want to double check that I've got your order, email me tonight, because I will be placing this order tonight or tomorrow morning. So tonight, midnight-ish my time, or tomorrow morning. So you need to put that through.
We've got to get them back so that I've got them in my hand to give you when we leave.
Right. And here's the other part to do with the oil that's going through a strait. This is what's happened since the ceasefire took place for the oil prices. All right. So they've gone down from nearly $117 a barrel. I think it's in barrels, right? Down to right now, $94 a barrel. So they've dropped $18 over a period of 2, 3, 4. That's 4-hour window. So that's 16 hours.
So we would expect then to see that over the course of the next 24 hours, our fuel prices will drop back in the same manner that they went up when the oil went up like this previously, wouldn't we?
Are you cracking a joke there?
I am. You might recall that in last night's show, I told you that I'd been in contact with the Lytton refinery, or at least the Lytton community. And every phone number I rang went straight to the security. Apparently that's because they got an extra day off for Easter. Everybody.
Did they?
The terminal didn't, but everybody else did with the company, got an extra day off for Easter. God love them, that's great. And the girl I spoke to, Helen her name was, absolutely lovely, but she is from the community. And she knows nothing at all. And I wanted to ask about why, or if there stories are true about independent fuel distributors not being able to be filled at the Lytton terminal. And she said, "Oh, well, I'm at the terminal right now. There's trucks here everywhere." And I said, "Oh, well, can you tell me, are there any independent trucks in that line, or are they just, Shell and BP and Ampol trucks, Caltex trucks?" And she went to tell me, and then she figured out what she was telling me, and she said, "Oh, I don't think I can comment on that any further." And I said, "Oh, no, smart girl." She said, I'll get the media team to call you." I said, "That would be wonderful." That's who I was looking to talk to. And she said, "Oh, well, I can't really tell you. There's a lot of trucks lined up here now for fuel. And I said, and there's no shortage. We know that. I said, but advise your media team. We'd love to hear from them. Otherwise, we'll just have to come out and have a look for ourselves. And she said, oh, that'd be okay. You're welcome. I said, I'll bring 10,000 people with me. We'll all come to a look. Nobody will go anywhere. No truck will move until we figure out who's getting filled and who's not. Because it's starting to look a lot like this is engineered. I didn't say that to her, obviously, but this is 100% looking like it's an engineered piece of bullshit that we're all living through here. And whether the government is telling the refineries to do this, or it is the refineries themselves just acting in a profiteering manner, in which case we do have laws, I think, similar to RICO here in Australia. But as the 4 major distributors of fuel in this country are all being filled out of one terminal here in Brisbane, and their price rises all go up and down pretty much the same, how can that not be collusion? How can that not be price colluding between fuel distributors? I mean, how can it not?
I mean, I can understand some of the independents having to put up their price because they've got to cover the next tank that comes in. So that sort of makes sense to me. You know, like they know that, you know, what would normally be, you know, say $27,000 worth of fuel that would be dumped into their tanks. Next tank is going to cost them close to 40,000. So I can understand them putting their money up because they're not going to have that 13 grand just floating around in their bank account. And of course, they've got to pay for it on delivery. So, but the big players, the guys that are making multi-million dollars worth of profit, one's got to ask the question.
Yep, very much got to ask the question. And speaking of asking questions, how many, raise your hand, give us a thumbs up in the chat. How many of you think Andrew Hastie is going to be or is worthy of being our next Liberal or Conservative Prime Minister? Hands up or thumbs up in the chat. I can't see it now, but I will go back and look later. I'll be very interested to know. Thumbs up too if you think Andrew Hastie is a good bloke, a worthy and trustworthy politician. I'm going to tell you some shit about Andrew Hastie over coming days, weeks and months, if necessary, that should stop you ever wanting to vote for this human being and have him represent you, because he's a piece of filth who has been at the heart of what has happened to Ben Roberts-Smith over the last 10 years. He has been the secret whistleblower to a Channel 9 reporter whose name is Nick McKenzie. Nick McKenzie has been fed this political-based bullshit about Ben Roberts-Smith through Andrew Hastie as the political connection, but he's also been fed through other areas as well and has made up a great many interesting, well, let's just call them interesting assumptions. He has been found out to have erroneously, unlawfully, maybe illegally, possibly, getting access to Ben Roberts-Smith's complete defence and sharing those details with Channel 9's lawyers, who were at the time prosecuting him very hard in a civil defamation case, or they were being prosecuted. Now, that happened in Sydney, and Ben lost that. Now, a lot of people think, oh, you know, he's been found guilty. The defamation was lost. He was found guilty on to a civil degree of some bullshit, being guilty of war crimes. And that, of course, meant that the AFP were going to keep investigating him. They let him out, let him wander around, but it's been going on in the background now continually. Yesterday morning, the AFP leaked to Channel 9 that they were going to arrest Ben Roberts-Smith before he got off a flight at Sydney Airport. He'd flown from Brisbane to Sydney with his partner Sarah and his two 15-year-old girls. The police, when the flight landed, surrounded the plane with flashing lights and very impressive bloody police officers doing very impressive AFP scary things. They marched their skinny little asses onto the plane and told Ben Robert-Smith they were arresting him, marched him off in front of God knows how many on the plane and in front of his 2 kids and his partner. Straight down the stairs into a Channel 9 camera, who was, for some reason, allowed airside. Now, you didn't see Channel 9 or Channel 10 there. They would have been shooting through a fence with a long lens. No, only Channel 9 were told. Only this fucking Nick McKenzie piece of filth, who isn't fit to call himself a journalist. He is a piece of filth. Absolute shocker. And I've got to be careful what I say. Anyway. Ben Robert-Smith was arrested. He was marched off to Mascot Police Station and later, after being charged with 5 war crime murders, he was taken to Silverwater Prison, into the remand centre there at Silverwater Prison, where, funnily enough, again, Channel 9 got pictures of him in the remand yard getting out of the car and being literally taken into jail. Now, they were a high shot, probably from a helicopter, but how did the helicopter get permission to be over the prison or in that area to get that shot? Because that's not allowed. I know, I've done a lot of flying around Melbourne. I've done a lot of flying around the prisons around Melbourne, and I know that you've got to do certain things to avoid flying around those prisons. They don't like aircraft going anywhere near them, particularly at certain flight levels. So, Ben Robert-Smith, by the time Ben Robert-Smith had got to Silverwater, well, before he'd been charged, I'm led to believe that there were over a dozen phone calls from some of, if not the best, highest profile, most successful and most expensive barristers in this country to represent him pro bono. I believe that there are a number of billionaires behind whatever is required to help Ben Robert-Smith. And I believe that the vast majority of the Australian people are behind Ben Robert-Smith. I can't talk to you about the direct allegations of what, or the specifics of his particular charges, for 2 reasons. One, I don't know them particularly. I know one of them inside out, but I don't know the other 4. I have some knowledge on a second one, and I have no knowledge of the other 3. So I can't speak to you about specifics or what they think they have. But what I can speak to is the fact that they are charging him criminally with evidence, the same evidence that was presented in the civil case, which was less than convincing, shall we say. Now, the AFP could have arrested Ben in Brisbane. He lives in Brisbane. He's been in contact as recently as last week with the AFP and said, if you need to talk to me, give me a call, I'll come in. No problems. But oh no, they don't want him in a Brisbane court. So they waited until he got to Sydney and then ambushed him before he could get off the flight. And now they're going to angle extremely hard to keep whatever trial this goes to in Sydney. Why? Because the corrupt filth that runs Canberra, the corrupt filth that Andrew Hastie is a pet of, don't want it to be held in Brisbane. There'll be no support for this at any court in Brisbane, not with a jury of his peers. And I would hope in Sydney. But in Sydney, those courts, we all know, are well captured. And we fear for just what sort of a fair trial Ben Robert-Smith might get. And it really is a might. Now, I think right now we should play what Sam played what Sam said, Vince, because Sam from Two Worlds Collide is a former commando. Have the highest respect for him and thank him for his service. And he speaks how I want to speak, but I don't have the right to speak the way he does.
No.
I
He
haven't
does.
served. All right. I haven't served as he has. But have no doubt, I feel exactly as Sam does, and I know many of you feel exactly as Sam does. And I can tell you that there are SEAL Team 6 members who have made contact who feel exactly the same way. In fact, one of them, I believe, was on one of the free-to-air breakfast shows this morning, and they were interviewing him about something else, about what's going on in Iran. And as they were trying to close the interview, his last words were, "Free Ben Roberts." Thank you.
It makes me wonder, Carl, how many of those AFP police officers were actually ex-army? And I wonder how they're feeling about being forced to arrest this man. I know they're following orders, right? They're just doing what they're told from their upper echelon. But I'm pretty sure that he's probably got some supporters inside the AFP as well.
Well, one would hope that he gets it. Now, today there was meant to be a bail hearing. His solicitor, for whatever reason, didn't apply for bail at the bail court. He did apply and state that they wanted to have the matter expedited to the Downing Centre local court in Sydney for today. That didn't happen, and it probably won't happen. In fact, I heard the first time it is going to happen and be scheduled at the Downing Centre court is June the 4th, and that will be, pardon me, for his next bail hearing. So that keeps him locked up for 2 months. I don't think that's going to be the case. I know Ben's mother believes that he's going to be locked up for 7 days, that they will keep him in there for 7 days before making or allowing another bail application to be made. But I think public pressure needs to be exerted. This cannot be allowed to rest. If you have a son or daughter who was considering joining the Defence Forces, how does it make you feel that, or how does it make them feel knowing that they can be ordered into a situation and get no support at all from their upper management, the brass, the officers? In fact, they get exactly the opposite. They get stories told about them.
Yeah.
Rumours started about them. You know,
Okay.
lies told about them.
Let's put this part in from Sam Bamford. So Sam Bamford's a podcaster. He's out there, and it's from Two Worlds Collide's podcast, just to give him credit. I'm pretty sure he won't object to us playing the full clip on here. So with that, let's throw this up, and hopefully everyone will be able to hear it.
I'm not hearing it. Not hearing it.
All right. So, that's a no. That's interesting. Okay, let me drop that and remove it and try and re-add it to the stage, guys. I apologise for the foo-foo.
You might have to unmute it too from his end, or from the website end, or whatever you're playing it on.
No, it was fine. It was playing. I could hear it. So, hang on. Where I've got to do, and not add to stage, I need to remove. Why are you not showing me the remove option?
So, while you fiddle with that, I'll just keep talking for a minute. Ben now has...
There we go. Sorry.
So Ben now has some pretty serious options. If they choose not to give him bail, and there is absolutely no reason on earth not to give him bail, no reason. The guy has a clean skin. He has no criminal record. He's got deep family ties all over the country, but predominantly in Queensland. If he was going to do a runner, he would have done that already, one would have thought. And I know he spent some time overseas. So he has been able to go to a variety, well, I don't know if it's a variety, but certainly a couple of countries and not have any problem. They've always known he was coming back, and he has. So there should be no trouble getting bail. But given this is a political friggin' witch hunt, in part driven by Andrew Hastie, the piece of useless filth that he is, the coward that he is, the man who only wishes he could be the kind of bloke that Ben Roberts-Smith is. Because he's certainly not that. Anyway, Sam is one of these blokes. Sam worked at the pointy end in our military. He was a commando. He knows exactly what it's like to be sent out to do jobs that you and I are either physically unable to do or too cowardly to do, not man enough to do. These are the guys that we need to support. These are the people who project Australian power, and they do so, to my knowledge, in a respectful and always within the rules manner. And I am sure there will be absolutely thousands of currently enlisted people and maybe potentially tens of thousands of potential military people, kids who haven't enlisted yet but are thinking about it, who are now going to rethink it, knowing that their bosses, the brass, the captains, the majors, the lieutenant colonels, the brigadier generals, are prepared to bow down to political suckholes like Andrew Hastie, who are prepared to put aside all honour, and allow some fucking politician to dictate what happens to our heroes. Play Sam. I can't hear that.
Still not hearing it.
No.
Really?
No,
What happens
I
if
think,
I play up like
I think you're
this?
playing it through your other sound card. Had a
Hearing
guess.
it now?
No.
Sorry? Really?
No, I'm not hearing it.
All right. Well, in the meantime, while I'm trying to figure that out, do you want to talk about the fact that the witnesses that are being brought forward in this are being paid, and we know what country they're from, are being paid by the government? You've
That's
got to ask.
That's the most disgusting thing about this. The only reason that Ben Roberts-Smith was found guilty in the that's a bit weird. The only reason that Ben Roberts-Smith was found guilty in the civil case was because of the witness testimony. Now, the AFP have spent $300 million trying to nail Ben Roberts-Smith for these supposed 5 murders that he allegedly committed. There were 39 murders allegedly committed and identified in the Brereton report. There has been one other Australian military person who has been supposedly, I think, charged with war crimes, but there has been no action or further action that I'm aware of taken against them. Ben Roberts-Smith, on the other hand, they've spent $300 million. They've sent AFP officers to Afghanistan when we could get them into Afghanistan. There is no site for them to inspect. There is no bullet for them to pull from the body. There is no autopsy. There is no body for an autopsy to be done on. There is no value, no nothing, nada. Except if you've got a fistful of pocket full of cash and a bunch of starving goat herders who have just had all sorts of military traipsing through their front yard for the last 10 years, who are the poorest of the poor, and you walk in and you start throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars and promises of potential rehoming in Australia. Did you see anything? Did you see this guy holding up a picture of Ben Roberts-Smith? Do you think Ben Roberts-Smith walked around with his face uncovered and all? How many SAS guys do you see walking around with their faces uncovered? Okay, they don't do it in front of the cameras very often. Do you think they do it in front of the local... Anyway, the witnesses in the Ben Robert-Smith case are Afghani farmers, Afghani very poor people. And they have, supposedly, guaranteed, been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars of Australian taxpayer money to come out and say they saw Ben Robert-Smith do something. Do something. We're not even sure if these witnesses are going to be able to appear in the court, and if they do, it'll be by video link. I think that's how they did it last time. I would hope that a jury of his peers would laugh this out of the court on day one. I would hope the foreman of the jury would stand up and say, fuck off all of you. You are idiots. Do not bring this before us. But I don't think we'll have a foreman with quite that many balls. Sadly, what we do have to make sure we get is a foreman who is fair. And how can you possibly believe a witness who's been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to give testimony? A witness...
And it's our money.
It's our money. But a witness who's come from the war zone, who is used to living on a bag of rice and a glass of water a day, and we're offering them the chance to get out of their little shithole part of the earth and come to a place, come and live in Queensland. Here's a picture of what the Gold Coast looks like. Would you like that? No worries. We'll give you enough money to buy a property in the Gold Coast hinterland. You can run goats. You'll be really happy.
All right.
It's filth, absolute filth.
Let's give this a go. Let's see if this works.
Thoughts. The government doesn't get to send Australia's best, most courageous men within our society to go fight in a foreign conflict and then judge us when we get home for what happened over there. The government doesn't get to send us into a war zone where the enemy blend in with the general population and go unseen. You don't get to send us into a war zone where they use IEDs and women and children as human shields. You don't get to send us into a war zone where they strap 13 kilos worth of explosives to 14-year-old boys and blow them sky fucking high. That happened on my trip. You don't get to send us into a war zone on the 29th of August where they get Taliban soldiers to infiltrate the Afghan National Army, which partnered with the Australian Defence Force over there, and then turn around and shoot my mates. Kill 3 in one night. You don't get to send us into that type of war zone and then judge us for what happened over there when we get home. And guess who was the first respondent on the 29th of August? That's right, Ben Robert-Smith and his team were the first one to fly in and make the scene safe. You don't get the right to spend $300 million over the past decade to send the AFP into Afghanistan to go on a witch hunt. You know that AFP and our government have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to Afghan nationals over in Afghanistan to write witness statements against Ben Robert-Smith? Did you know that? Do you know that where your taxpayer dollars are going? Do you not think that an Afghan national over there who was poor as hell would take the money and just write whatever they want, write whatever they're told to? And you know the one thing with all this Australia-hating culture has allowed the fester over the past decade. You can't tell me that this isn't all coordinated with the attack on young men in our society, telling them they're useless, pumping our kids full of hormones and destroying the next generation, trying to tell us that the land we're on is stolen, and now going after our military, going after the toughest, most courageous alpha males within our society. This is the Australia-hating culture that everyone is talking about. Let me tell you right now. If you want to sit there and judge us, if you want to sit there and say we should have done X, Y, and Z, go fucking spend a day fighting a war. Go fucking spend a day fighting against an enemy which uses women and children as human shields. Go fucking fight a day in a war where they get 13-year-old boys and strap 15 kilos worth of explosives to them and blow that little fucker sky high. Go fight a day in that. What's your thoughts? Okay, so thoughts.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So Some said that was probably because it was coming through my microphone. Guys, that's the best I could do. I have no idea what I can successfully transmit in my other recording studio, but StreamYard doesn't want to do it for me. But anyway, if you're looking for that, you will be able to find it. It's on X. I've seen it as a short on YouTube. Don't know how much longer it'll stay up on YouTube for. But one of the other things that I want to raise, besides everything that he talked about there, and he's 100% bloody correct. Why would they do this now? What month are we in? What happens at the end of this month?
Well, May is the right answer, but the incorrect one for this, I'm being told. So Anzac Day is coming up.
Exactly. What a most brilliant time to demoralize people even more by crucifying one of their soldiers.
I think we use Anzac Day. We use Anzac Day as a protest for Ben Roberts-Smith. We should all be carrying signs, release Ben.
Yeah. I'm sure that there probably will be, if the people manage to make it to Canberra for that one there, I'm sure that's what will happen. I know a lot of people probably won't because they can't afford to.
Oh, you just do it at your local march.
Yep. 100%.
You don't have to go and do it in Canberra to an empty Parliament House. You can do it at your local, and it'll be a good turnout at your local event. It's a Saturday, so it'll be a good turnout.
This is interesting. This came in my letterbox today. Then I've seen it. See it? You can't see it because you're on a phone. But this is an Anzac Day pamphlet that was actually produced and put out by our Liberal member for Barker.
Wow.
Right, Mr. Tony Paston. I was super shocked, right? And it's big.
Oh.
It's like pages, complete history.
And full colour.
And someone's ringing me.
Yeah, that happened.
Right, and in full colour. It's a brilliant piece of paper, and I'm really actually quite impressed. So, but that goes and it's talking about the fact that it's 25. I think it's 25 years since, I forgot where it was now. 25 years since the end of Afghanistan. Anyway, I haven't had a chance to read it. It only just arrived. So,
that's interesting. Well, you might have one Liberal in the pack there who actually supports, or at least remembers what it's. Yeah, see, this is the thing. They use Anzac Day now as a marketing ploy. You know, Australian politicians jump on it and say, "Oh yes, remember the Anzacs," and "Oh God, yeah, in the trenches with them," and blah blah blah. It's bullshit. They walk away from that and leave Ben Roberts-Smith in jail. I am beyond disgusted at the treatment that many, not just Ben, but many of our Defence Force people get. There is a bloke I've spoken about before who I haven't heard from in a little while. I hope that he's all right. Sean, that's you. I hope you're doing all right, brother. He has been fighting for Ben Roberts-Smith for a number of years. He's also been fighting for himself because they've had a go at him in various different ways too. He's very aware of and knows a great deal about not just Ben's circumstance, but many others. And needless to say, the higher-ups are not terribly friendly when it comes to trying to deal with him either. And he's making life very difficult for as many of them as possible, as it should be. He's pointing out the corruption in the ranks, and it's from the top down, unfortunately. And once this whole story with Ben Roberts-Smith, the chain of command.
No. Come on, let's be fair here, right? We're talking about the government. We're talking about confidential information. You watch how much of it becomes confidential information. You know how good they are with that black texter, right?
Yeah.
The one that just basically erases every piece of information on a page, or 19 pages, or 27 pages, or, they're really good at that. Do you really expect that they're going to allow this information out? Do we trust our government to be transparent?
Of course not, but they can't stop the jury hearing it.
Yeah, but the jury can't talk about it until the end.
The jury doesn't have to tell us about it. They have to just evaluate it and see whether or not it has merit. And if it hasn't merit, then Ben is going to jail for the rest of his life. If it has no merit,
question. How many people that were in January 6 went in front of a grand jury, and got convicted?
Well,
where are we holding this particular little shenanigans?
They want to hold it in Sydney, but I would guarantee you that his legal team will be fighting to have it in Brisbane. That may not be possible either, but the fact that the entire process has been shown to be corrupt from the get-go. Ben can prove that he was in contact with the AFP as late as last week, saying, if you want me to come in, I will come in. Just give me a call. I'll be over straight away. They have offices in Queensland, The AFP are funny like that. Being the federal police, they've got offices all over the place. But no, instead, Nick McKenzie and Channel 9, who live in Sydney, were invited to be at the airport and taken by the federal police back onto the airside to surround the plane, get pictures of the police surrounding the plane, and then frog marching Ben, or perp walking him. It wasn't a frog march, it was a perp walk down the bloody steps and into the back of the police car. I am only shocked that they didn't put him in handcuffs for the walk off the thing. That shocked me. They did, I believe, putting him in handcuffs once he was in the car, but I might be wrong. I only saw a shot of that, but certainly looked like it to me. His partner and his two kids were put in a different police car, and they weren't told what police station they were going to. Ben's partner has rung his mother, who lives in Perth, and explained what's going on, and just said, we've got no idea what police station we're going to, how long it's going to be, what they're going to do, yada, yada, yada. So now we know. This is just one of the most obscene acts I have seen in my lifetime. Yep. The political intervention and the desecration of a hero. That is what is happening here.
Actually, that's a bloody good point.
And the people who do not understand the SAS, I urge you to go and look up the history of the SAS. Look at where the SAS operate. The SAS don't operate at the front line, ever. They operate behind enemy lines, always. Always. So the SAS cannot, have never, and I suspect will never take prisoners. Now, also, does that mean they kill everybody that they come in contact with? No. But if they find a bloke who has a high-powered radio or a weapon, a high-powered weapon, there's every likelihood that that bloke is going to use the weapon on them, or, at the very least, use the radio to inform the Taliban or the opposition where he's encountered these soldiers. Now, if they take that radio off the guy, and quite often that is what happens, the decision-making process comes down to, can we be far enough out of this area before the guy is going to run to those Taliban people and tell them exactly where we are? How far can we be from here before he gets to where he's going to tell them where we are? That's the only decision they need to make.
And how do you know who it is and who it is that is running, because they meld together?
Well, you hear what Sam said.
Yeah,
So
a very
the same
interesting
youth as
point
Vietnam.
there. Very interesting point there was just raised. Shouldn't this actually be a military tribunal?
Absolutely, it should. No, should not be in a civilian court. It should be a military tribunal, 100%. But this is an exercise in government routing a Defence Force member. And if you are a current or serving Defence Force member, I bet you are eyeing off your out date right now.
Yep.
I bet you are wondering, shit, if these pricks send us into war against Iran, are they going to have my back? Imagine, if you will, the Australian soldiers on the American submarine that blew the ass out of an unarmed Iranian warship and sank it, killing 142 people.
How do we know? Hang on. Question. How do you get an unarmed warship?
Because it was invited to a parade, if you like, a naval parade in India. And you don't sail into somebody else's port fully armed up. So this thing was unarmed beyond, small sidearms. It didn't have torpedoes. It didn't have big weapons on its bow or anything like that. It was nothing like that. So aside from that, getting me off the fucking subject, the fact of the matter remains, those 3 sailors that are on board that ship could be charged with a war crime now.
Just for sitting there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But will they be? Because this is going to set a precedent.
It might be a precedent where a whole heap of ex-army vets suddenly come out and decide that they're going to stand against the government under the Constitution. You never know.
Well, there's got to be a whole heap of standing going on, but once the standing finishes, there's going to need to be something else.
Indeed. All right, we're getting close to wrap-up time here. It's 53 minutes in. We didn't think we'd be talking for this long. Here's another point of interest that came in. Yesterday, while I was snoozing, I got a message from the advertiser over here in South Australia. And it basically asked whether I would be interested in joining a little forum that they had going at 10:45 as to why people voted One Nation. Looks like they're going for another hit piece.
Who was putting this together?
The ABC, the advertiser. The advertiser.
Okay.
Right. So, little bit of homework for people if they wish to email or comment below. Why, if you voted for One Nation, why did you vote for One Nation? Would it be anything to do with securing our own fuel systems? Would it be anything to do with mass migration? Would it be anything to do with getting out of the WHO? Would it be anything to do from getting out of net zero? All these sort of subjects that are being put forward. Would it be any of those that might be? And by chance, did you just do it as a protest vote? And I'm guessing that probably 98% of people didn't do it as a protest vote.
No, I wouldn't.
I reckon they're doing it because they're reading the sand and saying, well, if we don't change this now, we're screwed.
Yeah.
So in the comments below, guys, in the comments, I will personally go and check them. So if you get a thumb mark from me, you'll know it's me, because it won't be the FBN thumb mark. It'll be my little mouse that's sitting there with their 45 Magnum behind his back, ready to shoot the eagle that's about to attack me. So it's a great little pendant. I love it.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, true. Seconds. I saw that, mate. I'll grab that after the thing. So that's great. The elevator has the same acronym as a group of trunks. Yeah. All right. Guys, I'm the one pushing the button tonight. So should I make the man do a wave, or should I just let him do his normal finish off. Once I get myself into the right position.
I'm happy to do a wave.
He's happy to do the
your
wave.
show for the last 20 minutes anyway, so I'll just wave.
Oh, not really. I've been doing all the technical stuff and failing badly. Not bad for a good person. All right.
Oh, you're doing very
See you,
well.
mate.
See you,
Bye.
see you.
All right. So that means that I get to say, with all the current fuel prices and everything driving around there, and all these people that are now driving 10 kilometers slower on the road, apparently it does help. But the minute you hit below 60, you actually use more fuel. But for all of those who are driving now slow on the road, taking longer, getting more tired, etc., right, you have to remember there's still the dickheads out there as well. So watch out.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!